Spanx are it's an undergarment. I think they're largely marketed at people who identify as women, and they are meant to like what does this Spanx do?
It's
I'm gonna say
shapewear. So
shapewear.
yes. So as a woman who's very familiar with Spanx, it's shapewear.
Uh
So
huh.
the idea is like if you're wearing a dress or something, it just kind of like creates like more of an hourglass figure.
Mm-hmm.
It can like just shape you a little bit better. Um, that's Spanx. So the CEO of Spanx is Sarah Blakely, and she was the youngest self-made female billionaire. And she originally sold fax machines door to door because she needed money. And then she started Spanx, and she only had something like $5,000 in savings, and then she launched this incredible company. So you can think of Spanx as like a modern day version of a corset. Um, Bit different, but same idea. So she started Spanx about 20 years ago. And recently, Blackstone, which is an investment firm, bought a majority stake. And now the company is valued at $1.2 billion. And she was so excited and so proud and so grateful that all of her employees, which I think it's about 500, contributed to Spanx's success, that she decided that she would buy every single employee 2 first class tickets to anywhere in the world, and everyone would get $10,000. I think it's such a lovely way of recognizing everyone's hard work. And only 50% of entrepreneurs are women, but they only receive 2.3% of venture capital. So it's mind blowing to me that she is so successful. And I'm I'm so happy, and I loved that she decided to recognize her team members. And when employees were asked what they would do with these gifts, the first class tickets and the $10,000, some of them said that they would go on their honeymoon. Others said that they would get eloped, they would have an elopement in Sweden. And one person said that they would go on a safari in South Africa. So this is a great way to just support the people who have supported her. And I've worked at startups and I've had great perks in my career, but no one ever bought me first class tickets or gave me $10,000 when the company I worked at became $1 billion company. And I think this is amazing. I'm very, very happy about it. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
The Spanx benefits. I think that was really sweet. I read the article and I thought, yeah, that's pretty adorable. And obviously it's something that people should be rewarded for their their service to a company that becomes like $1 billion company and stuff. And I think that's a really good way to operate, and especially like being like an amazing woman in business and stuff like that. Um, but like $10,000 is such a small proportion of 1.2 billion. Obviously, they're not going to give it all to the employees, but I looked it up, and there's like a lot of zeros after the 0 point. Um, and it makes me a bit sad thinking about how much businesses earn, and then you get the little tiny people at the bottom. But this is kind of like a nice story. And I don't really want to ruin
Yeah.
it by being too anti-capitalist. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to be quiet.
That's really responsible of you. I'll ruin it because I did try. And like data like this, I feel like is always iffy. But I tried to look up average salaries at Spanx, and I looked at a few different sources today. It's fine, but their salaries aren't great. So I do think, kind of in the same way, and this is what I was thinking about the episode. It was a few episodes ago we talked about kind of like cool perks in offices. And I think that time I probably also ranted and was like, I don't need like fancy food. Just like give me more time off, better benefits, all that sort of stuff. So I just do think it is easy to do a one time thing and do a very nice thing, which if I worked there, I would be psyched. That's super cool. I get it. But I'm also just like, I'll just be very blunt. I work for a company that's owned by a bigger company. If the parent company of Wisecrack got sold or did something for billions of dollars and they gave us all $10,000 bonuses, I would still kind of be like, I don't care. Give us raises. Give us 4 weeks paid vacation or whatever it might be. Um, the other thing I'll say, we can pause. Serby probably wants to kill me right now. So
No,
I'm going to say one more cranky thing. Do you want to get mad at me before I say my other cranky thing?
no, say it.
Okay, I'll say this. Blackstone, the company that paid for this, is one of the most evil places in the world. Here's some stuff Blackstone's done. Speaking of like empowering people, Blackstone owns Motel 6, a company that they approved of giving list of their guests to ICE, immigration enforcement, without warrants and getting people, many of them women and children, forcefully removed from the United States of America. In 2019, a United Nations report found that Blackstone's massive purchasing of single-family homes after the financial crisis had devastating consequences. And let's see, and it disproportionately affected communities of color, in part because the company targeted foreclosures resulting from subprime loans. Also, they spent $6.2 million to defeat California's Proposition 10, which would have allowed cities to enact rent control. So all I'll say is, I'm not saying this is the CEO of Spanx's fault. I'm saying that sometimes stuff like this happens, and it's like, this is in the very immediate, it's cool for these employees, but then zooming out a little bit, it's like, yeah, sure, and all this money that the people who run the company are going to get is from an investment firm that has no qualms in ruining the lives of people of color and, people who are trying to find a better life in America if it improves their bottom line.
So the first part of what you said about it's a great one-time gesture and it would be nice if, like, how about they just pay people better wages? I am curious, when you looked at the average, I'm not saying that Spanx,
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm curious about the wages. Were they competitive for the roles? Because it is like a manufacturing, like, so like was the pay competitive for like a sewer or a garment buyer or something like that?
Well, so this is a great question. Is it like, how far down did this go? Was it every single employee of the company?
I think it's
including,
every
like, drivers, people that make the stuff in factory? Because I'm sure most of their stuff is made overseas, right?
So I'm not sure about whether it's like overseas factory
Yeah.
employees or if it's just like corporate employees.
Yeah.
But from the articles that I've read, it was 500 plus employees. Every
Yeah.
employee was what I saw. So
Yeah.
I think it's like the assistant sewer all the way to like the CFO.
Yeah, I'd be curious about that. I definitely, So the salaries I found were just, on like Glassdoor, PayScale, some other stuff. And once again, I'm aware, like, I've worked at places where I've looked up salaries on those and I'm just like, nope. But they were like average corporate salaries. A lot of things, a lot of the roles were in the, I would say, the $60,000 to $80,000 a year range for a lot of jobs, which, I don't want to be bratty. If you live in a major city, you can live life. It's not crazy though. Yeah. So I just feel like if I was making $75,000 a year and this happened, I would be like, can I just make $100,000 a year, please?
Yeah, can you just give me the money in lieu of the first class ticket? Can you just give me that money?
Yeah, well, because I do kind of think it's like the marshmallow experiment they did. The famous, like, the impulse control thing with the kids. Yeah. Do you want the one marshmallow now, or can you wait and have two later? And I kind of feel like when businesses do stuff like this, it's just giving us one very big marshmallow right in front of us, so that we don't ask questions about where the other marshmallows are.
Everything you're saying makes sense. I agree with it. However, I feel like maybe I'm so broken as a person from having worked at startups for so long that I'm almost like, crumbs, like, yay, like you're gonna give me something for all my hard work. Like, that's so nice of you.
I think an incredible thing this person did. If my boss called me today and was like, they were like, we're giving you 2 domestic business class seats and $5,000, I would be like, Daddy made it. Like, what else can happen in life? So I like totally get it, but just not being in that situation, it's a little bit easier to do that. And I will say, when I saw the word Blackstone in one of the articles, I was like, uh-oh, these are the bad guys.
But the way that you like yelled all of your criticism for Blackstone was like, it's so intense. Like, it got me riled up. It was great. I was enthralled.